Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Yeah, URC Round 14 didn't do too well for the South African teams. We had two away games, two local games, and only one team walked away with a victory. But without any further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so first off, we're starting with the Stormers. What can I say about it? They started off absolutely brilliant. Getting a very early advantage over the Ulster players, kind of early into the game. With the two tries, one from a completely unexpected try by Ivan Roos, where he just made an absolutely brilliant and strong line break into a try. When I when I say unexpected, I mean I was still kind of sitting down, getting ready to enjoy the game, having a conversation with somebody, and Ivan Roos was behind the try line, scoring the first 5 points for the Stormers. That was then basically followed up by an absolutely brilliant Sasha Feinberg Kumazulu drop goal. And that again was then shortly followed up by a cross kick by Sasha and then into the hands of Ben Loader for a corner try, which was also, I mean, all the kicking, I mean, Sasha's kicking was absolutely fantastic, on point for that whole game. He didn't miss a single kick. But after that was basically when things just really started going south. The discipline started sorely lacking, and also the ball handling was, wow. I don't know. It went from absolutely brilliant to almost non-existent. People scrambling after a ball that just bounced freely or for most of the time. Whenever they did get an attack movement going, it was just absolutely strong beginning, hopeful center, and then an absolute disaster in the final moments of the execution. We just saw somebody like either knocking the ball on, kicking it away, or just throwing the ball again, passing it either with a chicken wing on offload or passing the ball without looking where to pass it to. That just we have the ball end up in absolute no man's land. Then again, also attack movements without proper support is something that really needs to be worked on, and I hope that John Dobson will take a bit of time to focus on that as well. Talk about discipline. A few things. Sasha Feinberg Komozulu's absolutely silly yellow card, with an unnecessary challenge for the Bella Cone's up and over kick. Bella Cone basically hoisted the ball and immediately started following up. Sasha then, he immediately turned around and also gave chase. But because he's been slowed down by the turnaround, he cuts in front of Bella Cone, and which leads to a clash. Both of them basically go, sort of falling forward, and he gets a yellow card for that. Now, somebody of Sasha's level of play, I mean, he's been with professional rugby for quite a while. He should know the rules, and the rule is very clear. You cannot obstruct a kicker when he starts giving chase. You have to keep clear of his trajectory, and Sasha basically just cut in front of him. The two collided and fell over, and then after which Sasha wanted to start a bit of a tug of war there, when he was completely at fault. So yeah, the discipline there wasn't very, for one, professional, and for two, just absolutely a bit silly. Really should be looking out for that one. Then there was the Damien Willemse penalty, and he's lucky he didn't get a yellow card for it. The ref did rule that he was the initial hit. It was a no arms clearing of the ruck. The initial hit the player on the chest, so not foul play, but it was an illegal clearing, and he got a penalty for that. Then we have I think Sheridan that also got a yellow card from Ulster this time, getting a yellow card for a cynical play with a handy ruck. Where he's basically putting his hand in the rug. Ivan Roos went down, placing the ball for the scrum half to collect. He then basically grabs Ivan Roos's arm, shakes it up and down, so the ball basically bounced back to the scrum half, and then the scrum half knocks it on. Unfortunately, the scrum was still issued for Ulster, although Ulster was given a yellow card and now basically playing with 14 men. But which brings me to the next point, is the Neethling Forshire red card, which fans are pretty divided on, and my take is also not quite convinced that it was justified, and I'll tell you why. Because both players dipped into the tackle. The ball carrier basically goes in head first. Now, when you're going into a tackle leading with a head as a ball carrier, you must expect to get injured. I mean, it's an absolute silly mistake. You go in with your arms first. You don't go in head first, and under any circumstances. There was also a ruling made by the ref that it was a no arms tackle. Don't agree with that. There was evidence that Neethling Forshire did wrap the arms. He had his arm around his leg, and again, how do you wrap a head? You're not allowed to put your arms around the guy's neck in the first place for safety reasons. Obviously, that rule exists. So how is he supposed to wrap his arms for a guy going in head first? So not completely convinced that that's justified. Also, Neethling did dip as low as he could. There's no way he could have gone in lower, and then obviously the ball carrier also came in extremely low. So there was no point or no space really for Neethling to actually execute a safe tackle. And so in my argument, there is enough mitigation for perhaps maybe a yellow card or a penalty just. But a red card completely, I'm not convinced that was entirely justified. Yeah, and then obviously, I spoke about the Damien Willemse penalty that led to a try from Jacob Stockdale, and that was basically the how can I put it, the the overall kind of feel of the match. The dramatic conclusion, though, it was only by about 4 points, 38-34, a victory for Ulster. The Stormers, I have to give it to them. They fought tooth and nail right to the very end. There wasn't a point where they kind of said, oh, okay, we're down, we're losing here, there's no point in actually carrying on. They played that full 80 minutes, and then they did it so bloody well. Sasha Feinberg Komazu slotting a second drop goal. The Stormers somehow maintained the early advantage despite playing really undermanned, with obviously Neethling Forshire going off, and then at the same time that was I think shortly after Sasha Feinberg's Komazu. So Sasha Feinberg is still in sin bin. This is right up to the end of the first half. So they played the entire first half with only 13 men. And then somehow they still maintained kind of, a bit of a dominance there, but it really started, the game started descending into absolute chaos when people scrambling after balls and, bad ball handling, off attack movements. It was just some of the moments of the match was just absolutely wow. Total chaos. I think that's the only The only thing I can really say about it. But the Stormers made some brilliant attack moves, but really need to work on some serious discipline there. Ulster, slow start, but made a very good comeback. Brilliant call back into for the 4-point lead, and then really as a few questionable kind of officiating decisions. Especially the one with Newton Fisher's red card. Not like I said before. I'm still not convinced whether that was completely justified. And then the tactical kicking, the drop goals and conversions, brilliant. I mean, fantastic. The rest needs work. All right, so coming to the Sharks versus Leinster, epic clash of giant proportions. I think that's the way I would basically describe it. Although at times they were seriously lacking discipline, but the performance between these two. I mean, we have the current Currie Cup champions facing off against the former URC champion and number one on this season's URC log. So a very strong team. Although with the absence of RG Snyman, they had a very hard time to kind of, keep the pressure on, fighting tooth and nail for their dominance within the game. The Sharks dominated the scrums right from the start in absolutely beautiful fashion. 2 tries to Leinster, both unconverted due to the really uncharacteristic kicking performance by Clarence Frawley. Henry McEarlean, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, basically opened the tally for Leinster with his try off a tap and go. And then, the one other time when it was complete, I'm not quite sure who it was that scored this try, but it was an absolute fantastic line break that happened that, the Sharks really had some difficulty kind of, defending against. But it was a high pressure situation, and I kind of think the high level of humidity within the stadium also didn't help. Leinster and Sharks themselves really suffering under that kind of oppressive heat, which is something characteristic of Durban, unfortunately. But the players did adapt. They kind of tried their best. They kept the pressure on, and some intense, electrifying rugby movements and play throughout the entire game. There was just some controversy as well within this game, like there always is within rugby. Jaden Hendricks kicking the ball out of Alex Soroko's hands. A rookie mistake. You cannot put your leg into a ruck and then kick the ball out of the opponent's hands. Not done. Absolutely, it's foul play, and earned him a yellow card, or for 10 minutes. So which put the Sharks on a bit of a back foot there. But that's basically, I think, when the Sharks start shining, really, when they are kind of with their back against the wall. Which basically led to a fantastic and extremely strong line break by Bongi Munambi, scoring their one and only try for the game. I think within the second half it was. And then Jordan Hendricks basically making a fantastic conversion to put them on 7 points, so only 3 points behind Leinster. And that's basically where the score stayed for the rest of the game. There was a bit of a disappointment. They could have equalized right in the 80th minute. The Sharks basically getting a penalty. And Siya Kolisi makes a massive decision to rather go for a touch kick, line out, and then hopefully score a try off a driving maul. So when you go to the risk and reward analysis there, to kind of rather settle, take the 3 points, equalize the scores, each one coming off with at least 1 point each, or try and go for the win, and walk away with the extra points there. And I feel that was kind of a mistake because it backfired, and it backfired huge. Um, they basically went into the attack movement. The ball was lost forward, and obviously, yeah, ref called it end of game. So, what do you think? Give me your opinions on Siya Kolis's decision there. Do you think that he made the right decision? He could have got should he have gone for the line out, or should he have just settled for the 3 points off Jordan Hendricks's drop goal or goal conversion, which I think was probably a lot more likely that would have happened. That was a guaranteed almost 3 points. Jordan Hendricks has been absolutely deadly with his kicks within the season. So yeah, let me know your your thoughts there in the comments below. What you would have done? Would you have done the same? But yeah, let's hear it. And now we're coming to the Bulls versus Zebra game. Now, yeah, sure, the Zebra is not one of the strongest teams within the URC, but still an epic match. They did put up a strong fight, basically securing 24 points for their side throughout the game. It was kind of a, first half was more or less kind of a seesaw matchup. Scored, by the Bulls, then scored by the Zebra, and then scored by the Bulls again. But it was a tough match. The Bulls did kind of steamroller through Zebra in the second half, securing their victory of 63 points to 24. But yeah, thoroughly humiliating the Italians there. But it wasn't an easy fight. Like I said, the Italians did kind of make a very strong counter push at times. But yeah, it was an absolute fantastic, wonder to watch in Loftus-Versfeld on Saturday. The Bulls wasted no time establishing their dominance throughout the game. Sergio Peterson, within the first 2 minutes of the game, basically scoring his first try. That was followed up by an early try by Zebra. And like I said, then again, Zach Berger basically getting an opportunistic try. There's again, which was kind of funny because, picture this. Most of the players are moving back towards their side. This is Rocky's form. And like I said, the players are moving back to their side. However, Batista Staville, not quick enough. So Zach Berger basically get the ball, try and pass it to his back line. It hits Batista, bounces forward. Immediately Zach Berger basically follows up. He regains possession of the ball. The referee already putting up his arm for advantage to the Bulls, but Zach Berger just basically powering through. He does get tackled, but he does manage to get an offload to his supporting team, and they scored an absolutely beautiful try. I think it was Harold Foster that scored that try over there. And then, yeah, basically, I think Harold Foster also got a yellow card for... No. Harold Foster basically kicked the ball away. I think that was in the second half, and this was a kind of a controversy because frustration was running high a bit. But I think it was more of a question trying to keep Zebra from getting the ball. It was a scrum situation, Zebra ball. So he kicks the ball away to try and waste time. Where Zebra tried to go for a quick throw-in situation, and basically which resulted in the Zebra player basically pushing Foster from behind, and then Van Heerden steps in, knocks him down with his shoulder. Ref sees this, and Van Heerden gets a yellow card. Now, yes, frustrations can ride high. And the push might have been completely unnecessary, but Van Heerden's unnecessary show of force and roughness was also, unnecessary. And not quite in the spirit of the game. So quite justifiably, the ref did issue him a yellow card for that one. He's off for 10 minutes. Now the Bulls, have to fight with 14 men. So yeah, mistakes all round. Ridiculous bounces of the ball off the chip and chases. Basically, getting some really good tries for Zebre as well. And they were quite lucky, ridiculously lucky, off their bounces. I mean, the ball was just all over the show. They just bounce, and I mean, how a rugby ball can change direction at an instant as soon as it hits the ground, kind of thing. Also, up and over balls, not really controlled that very well, but yeah, some unfortunate gaps left by the Bulls, creating some really nice opportunities for Zebre to run through and get some scoring opportunities. Montemari doing absolutely brilliant for his team as well. And then Stravino Jacobs, also the monster line break by him in pure power, almost like a Bongi Benambi situation against Leinster. Basically earning him a fantastic try. Jan Hendrik Wessels crossing before the line half, also kind of a psychological hammer blow for him, getting a penalty there. Marco Verstappen, tactical, also some really tactical masterclass. I mean, these are the kind of highlights that you really do love in a rugby game. So all in all, a fantastic game to watch. Some real great rugby entertainment there. The Bulls' fancy footwork just put them in an early time lead. Zebre really making some fantastic efforts to kind of crawl back and reduce the deficit, but unfortunately, the Bulls just reigned supreme. Their dominance was just absolutely undeniable in this game. But let me hear your thoughts on the proceedings of the game if you did watch it. It was just absolutely fantastic. Some real great rugby entertainment. David Creel also capitalizing on some serious errors by Zebre, epitomizing the Bulls' clinical finishing strategies as well. And I think, the fans and Jake White can be really proud of the boys. They pulled out all the stops for this weekend. But let me know your thoughts in the comments field below. And moving on to the final game. And boy, was it a doozy. Right, now we come to probably one of the most dismal performances that I've basically seen in rugby history. Lions versus the Glasgow Warriors, and the Lions got an absolute brutal reality check here. 42-0. That was the final score. What can I say? The Lions completely humiliated by this game. By the Scots, really. Today's we're analysing not just the defeat, but potentially a defining moment of the Emirates Lions season. And the Lions now have a choice to make, moving forward from here on, and I'll cover that in a little bit now. Just to kind of paint you a picture of how bad it was, Glasgow secured, in the 40-minute first half, 7, no less, no more, 7 tries with conversions. Ooh. What I witnessed on that game wasn't really so much a rugby game as it was a car crash in slow motion. The ball handling. Okay, the weather did play a huge part within that. With it, I think they played at Emirates Park. No, they played in Glasgow. I think, but they would have huge headwind against the Lions in the first half. But that continued right through the second half, and now Leinster was basically on the receiving end of that. And yet Glasgow could turn that disadvantage into a win. They had the wind at their back, a gale force winds. You could literally see the ball physically curving off clearance kicks by the Lions, especially really deep kicks by Kieran Horn, was met by this absolutely strong headwind, basically blowing it back another, say, 10 meters or so. So yeah, they faced a very strong kind of weather impact, but turning it around to the second half, Leinster is now facing that headwind, and yet Lions could not convert that advantage into points. I mean, this was the total very definition of a whitewash. Both teams, like I said, faced the same weather, but only Glasgow basically could push through and actually use that to their advantage and, make an absolute killing scoreline. But yeah, that kind of frustrated the Lions to no end. But now, again, like I said, if Ivan Verrooyen and his team has a choice to make, are they going to focus more on the EPCR Challenge Cup that's coming up a bit later this year? Or are they going to basically focus on the rest of the Investor Cup pathway and hoping to add some more points to secure their spot within the top 8 and the playoffs within the URC? Time will tell. I don't know what these boys are going to decide, but the Lions now face the rugby equivalent of choosing between a rock and a hard place. And I don't really want to be in their shoes at this point. I don't even think I wanted to be in that cloakroom after the game, because I can only imagine. The depth of the game was just, I can sum it up with one word: chaotic. Ball handling errors was atrocious. The discipline among the Lions just wasn't there. Sure, they did face, like I said, the weather conditions, but Glasgow faced the same weather conditions, and they're not going to get away from this one. They played badly. The next key match this coming weekend will be Edinburgh. Not a strong team as Glasgow, but still, it's a crucial point. They cannot afford to lose any more matches. The same with the Stormers. The Stormers cannot, if they're hoping above any hope to make it to the playoffs, they are going to seriously need to ace all their home games from now on. They cannot afford another loss. Otherwise, they can kiss this URC season goodbye. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. I'm rambling here. I think I've spoken enough about this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments field. What do you think about the game? Where could they improve? Because I'm literally at a loss for words. The way the performance they gave us this weekend was not what one expect from the second runner up to the to the Currie Cup Championship. Losing to the Sharks by 2 points in that game. They played a hard game, massive game, making it to the finals in the Currie Cup, and to come against Glasgow and lose so badly. Glasgow sure are currently defending their their cup, their championship within the URC. But yeah, with Leinster being a very strong contender, I don't know if Glasgow Warriors would be able to hold on to that championship in coming end of the season. But we'll have to see what happens there. I mean, maybe they can still surprise us. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments field, guys. And that is it for me, guys. Thank you very much for watching, as usual. If you haven't done so, please like and subscribe to the channel and hit that bell button so you can get all the fantastic updates as new videos are uploaded. Also, please leave me your opinions, your comments below. Where you think the Stormers can improve. What were your thoughts about the Lions' dismal performance, being crushed so severely by the Glasgow Warriors this weekend? And what do you think their chances are against Edinburgh this weekend? Yeah, I'm talking obviously about the Challenge Cup. The Investec Challenge Cup is making a return now. And this weekend we have Toulon facing off against Saracens. We've got Castes going up against Benetton. Leinster facing off against Harlequins. Then La Rochelle and Munster is making an appearance together. Glasgow Warriors taking on Leicester. Within the Challenge Cup, we've got Beyond and the Bulls. Montpellier going up, facing off against Gloucestershire. Perpignan, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, taking on Racing 92. And then Connacht against Cardiff. Stormers not performing this weekend, which probably isn't a surprise. But yeah. Ospreys taking on Scarlets again, and then Lyon going up against Sharks. So the Sharks has got a very strong opponent there with the French coming in. So yeah, holding thumbs for these boys. But yeah, without any further ado, it's me signing off, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourselves and your loved ones. Peace out.
Through the belly goes the Bulls. Takwini swings it on to Fermont. Oh, it's a penalty advantage, so it is Zach Berger. Sometime Berger straight through the middle.